Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to today's session. I'm Claire, your lecturer and also your learning companion. Today, allow me to share with you guys how to convey persuasive messages and negative messages effectively. 如何有效地传递说服性讯息以及负面讯息。So, first stop, to kick off this session, I'd like to start with how to convey persuasive messages, then followed by negative messages. So, first step of planning these persuasive messages, we need to know what is our goal. When we persuade someone, we need to let people know what is our goal, all right? To either to agree on you or to buy something from you, all right? So, goal, 目的，说服性讯息的目的是让读者同意你的观点或做你请求他们做的事情，所以清楚自己想要达成什么目标非常重要。That is the first step that we need to do when we plan persuasive messages. Alright? So, second step will be analyze your audience and understand them. 受众分析，你将自己的想法或产品宣传得越符合受众的特定需求，你的讯息将会越具说服力。举例，今天你在销售一款男鞋，你应该针对不同的目标受众，突出这款鞋的不同特点。比如说，你的对象今天是年轻的管理人员，你可以销售它的概念是时髦，有各种漂亮的黑色款或棕色款，搭配正装的完美选择。如果今天你的受众是退休管理人员，你可以销售他们的点是经济划算、无比舒适、一款实用的鞋子。这样一来，我们充分了解了目标受众，为他们量身定做符合他们特定需要的讯息，强调对方的需求，才能达成目标。So, other than analyze and understand your audience, we need to custom-make messages to different groups of audience so that we need to understand our audience first and then we can personalize and custom-make messages towards them. Okay, so next stop, what do we have? Other than understanding our audiences, we need to understand their experiences and attitudes towards certain ideas, towards certain thoughts or products. Okay, 读者的经验与态度，读者或听众的经验与态度，我们必须了解。So, 你必须了解读者已知道的讯息有哪一些，读者对相关的话题有什么先入为主的想法。如果这个印象是负面的，那么我们就需要添加更多有逻辑性的理由。再来，我们也必须研究读者为什么会有抵抗心理，这样才能好好的说服那些有抵抗心理的读者。Alright, so just now we were talking about understanding our audiences. Alright, so understanding their experience and attitude is their background actually. So we need to know what messages they have already known. All right, and then what are the background that we should add in? Or do they have the negative first impression towards your topics, your thoughts, your ideas, or your products? If so, you have to add in more logical reasons to persuade them. All right, so next one, we have your messages impacts towards your audience. 你的讯息对听众的影响。你的提议会如何影响听众呢？如果你要求听众拿出手中重要的资源，比如说时间或金钱，你就必须提到这样做的好处。要让自己具有说服力，你必须拿出具体且令人信服的证据。相反，我们也可以把自己摆到听众的角度考虑问题，跟他们讨论提议所带来的利益。在劝说别人时，重点应该放在目标受众身上，而非某种产品或者想法上。Alright, so next we have these impacts towards our audiences. So we wanted to know how our messages will form impacts toward our audiences. Okay, if we want our audience to to take out their resources, such as money and time. We need to let them know the benefits of doing so. So, in order to be impactful or to be persuasive, okay, we need to stand in the shoes of your audience, is in our audiences, okay? And also the main focus should be on our audiences, not your thoughts, your products, and your ideas, okay? So next one, we have your credibility. Your credibility plays an important role or part in persuading someone, okay? 你的可信度。So 首先你必须了解你的读者对你的可信度高吗？你越诚信，你写或说的东西会被更多人所信任。可信度可以从多方面得到验证，也许人们可以从你在公司的地位判断你的诚信水平。如果你是某方面的权威专家，那么人们很容易相信你的观点。比如说今天我们生病了去看医生，我们肯定相信医生所说的话，那是医生的可信度。又或者如果我们都没有这些，我们可以怎么做呢？我们可以通过用事实来说话，来获得他人的信任。怎么样用事实来说话呢？我们可以给人们展示真实发生的事例和可靠的数据。Okay, so in order to get your credibility, when you persuade someone, you need to know that your audience, do they trust you? How do they trust you? So in order to make people trust you, we need to have high credibility. How to increase our credibility? In order to increase our credibility, we need to actually show them proof, show them facts and figures from reliable sources. Okay, so next stop while persuasive messages. Okay, when we write persuasive messages, how to start? We have got direct approach and indirect approach. So, 当我们要组织说服性请求或讯息时，如何开篇？我们有直接方式和间接方式。直接方式是把主旨放在前面，第一段第一个句子，这种方式既可以节约时间，又可以立刻满足读者的好奇心。用这种方式需要记住，最好在第一段简单的提到自己的论据和理由。例子，为了让销售会议圆满举行，我已经考察了3家酒店。正如下面所提，大华酒店位于市中心，这个就是你的理由，有最好的会议设备和价钱也相对公道。所以这个是直接方式，直接说服别人，然后再给予理由。Okay, so how to start to write and persuasive messages? Okay, using direct approach. This approach is good because this approach will put your objective, okay, up front in the first paragraph, first sentences. And this method has advantages such as save time. All right, and you fulfill the curiosity of your readers immediately, okay, or your audience immediately, okay? So we move on. So normally, when do we use direct approach? Okay, so 一般来说，以下几种情况适合开门见山的方式。第一，写给公司的上层。再来，目标受众对你的提议没有先入为主的偏见，提议本身无需你大费口舌。提议冗长复杂，或你知道读者偏爱开门见山的方式。So, when do we use direct approach when we want to persuade someone? Normally, we use it when we write to our company or organization, top management, board of directors, or superiors. Okay, and also when people, your audiences, do not have negative impressions toward your ideas, your thoughts, or your products. Okay, and also these ideas of yours do not need you to explain much, then you should use direct approach. Okay, next we have got indirect approach, 间接方式。So 怎么样用间接方式呢？我们必须先抓住读者的注意力。Okay, so 我们何时用间接方式呢？通常我们用在写给下属或同事，写给公司以外的人。需要大费周折的劝说， 然后再来就是我们知道读者偏爱间接的方式。So when do we use indirect approach? When we write to subordinates or our colleagues or outsiders from our organizations, okay, to the public. And also, when we know that we need to explain a lot when we persuade them, we will need to use indirect approach, okay? So next, we will move on to how to convey negative messages, okay? So just like persuasive messages, planning negative messages is the first step, okay? So 为坏消息讯息做计划。你写讯息的方式并不会改变你要传达的内容，但这可能决定你的读者为你的决定认为你的决定是合理的或是疯狂的。So 写坏消息讯息的目的一共有2个。首先，首个肯定是因为我们要传达这个坏消息，或者说不。其次，再来就是留住读者的好感。要实现这些目标，我们必须要有礼貌、清楚以及完整的传达这些讯息。我们也必须让读者知道，我们已经很认真的在考虑他们的请求，但为了公平以及维护良好的商业运营，我们不得不拒绝他们的请求。So while planning negative messages, the way we need to understand that the way we write a negative messages will not change the content of the messages. These negative messages would not turn positive. All right? So then what we need to do is our ultimate goal when we plan negative messages. We have 2 goals, all right, here. So first goal, of course, we wanted to convey these negative messages or to say no, to reject, okay? And at the same time, we want to achieve another goal, which is your audiences still feel good toward you after you convey negative messages, all right? So in order to accomplish these 2 goals, all right, we need to be polite and clear and give the whole information in truth, okay, when you convey negative messages. Okay, we move on. Of course, we have direct approach and indirect approach again, okay? So, 直接方式立刻说出坏消息。如果一个坏消息的宣布不会给读者带来情绪上的影响，那我们应该用直接的方式，在说出坏消息的同时，给出简短的解释。比如说，河滨公园正在进行改建，可能会给公司员工及其家属带来安全上的隐患，因此原定于8月3号在河滨公园举办的公司年度野餐取消。这将不会给读者带来负面情绪上的影响，所以我们就用了这个直接方式，立刻说出坏消息。All right, so when do we use direct approach when we wanted to convey negative messages? If these messages will not bring negative emotional impacts to your audience, then we should use direct approach. By the time you use direct approach, okay, by the time you convey these negative messages, we should right away give explanation, okay, brief explanation. All right, so we move on to indirect approach, okay, 间接方式，缓冲坏消息。So when do we use indirect approach? 什么时候用间接方式呢？通常我们写信或者传递这个负面讯息给我们的下属、我们的客户，然后我们不了解的读者或听众，然后更喜欢间接方式的读者，我们将会用间接方式比较好。All right, so when do we use indirect approach? We use indirect approach whenever we need to convey negative messages to our subordinates, our colleagues, our clientele, our customers, and also the audiences that we do not understand. All right, so we will use indirect approach. So, how to use indirect approach, okay? In order to use indirect approach, we can use buffer sentences, 冲缓类型的句子 ，OK？ 这里我们有几个例子。第一，当然是赞同 ，OK， 还没说出坏消息之前，你先赞同，感激，然后赞扬，给出事实，给出一般原则，先说出好消息，然后再说出你的理解，再给坏消息 ，OK，so 你可以用这几个例子类型，这几个缓冲类型的例子作为你的第一段。Okay, so how do we use buffer sentences? So before we convey these negative messages, okay, we can use a few buffer messages such as agree, be grateful, compliment, giving out facts, principles, give out good news before you say the bad news, okay? And lastly, of course, understand the situation of your audiences, okay? You can use these type of buffer sentences to use indirect approach when you actually convey negative messages. Okay, so next one we do have rationalizing your reasons. 为你的决定寻找正当的理由。讯息主要部分必须要关注在理由上，而不是坏消息本身。告诉读者，你的决定是一种商业决定，而非个人决定，让读者感觉你认真的对待他的请求，不要以公司的决策为借口。如果你有多个理由拒绝，请将最有说服力的放在首位。Okay, so while rationalizing your decisions, okay, we need to focus on the reasons why you reject, why you convey these negative messages, but not negative messages itself. Okay, we put the focus on why you reject, why you need to convey these negative messages today, but not the negative message itself. So you can tell your audience that these decisions is a business decisions, but not your personal choices or decisions. All right, you have to let your audience feel that you take them seriously and do not put your company policy as your excuses to reject, okay, or bring negative messages. Okay, so we move on to convey. When we convey negative messages, when we conversing, okay, 说出坏消息 ，okay, so 用积极或中性的语言说出坏消息，强调你所能做的事情，而不是你不能做的事。例如，不要用负面的词语，比如说不能、无法、不可能、不幸的事、抱歉，以及必须拒绝这样的话语。再来，不要为自己的决定道歉，因为没有理由为一个合理的商业决定道歉。Okay, so during our conversation of bringing out negative messages, okay, we should actually use positive or neutral languages to bring out negative messages. Okay, so give emphasis on what we can do, okay, not what we cannot do. Okay, so for example, we will not or we do not use negative words such as I can't, impossible, unfortunately, sorry, and I have to reject these kind of wordings which are very negative, while the message itself already negative. Okay, and at the same time, do not feel sorry or say sorry for the decisions made, while these decisions made are not your personal decisions, personal choice, but it is a business decision discussed by the committee. All right, so this is how we should convey negative messages. All right, so when it comes to endings, we wanted it to be a positive endings. 以愉快的话语作为结尾 ，OK， 我们能怎么做呢？我们可以美好的祝愿他们，我们可以给反提议，我们也可以提供其他渠道的帮助。Okay, so when it comes to endings, like I say, we wanted it to be positive. So what can we say or what can we do? Or so we can wish them well, we can give them other suggestions, and also we can give them alternative assistance, or we know someone who can help them. We can, introduce them to that someone that we know. Okay, so that is positive ending. All right, so I think that's all for today. All right, thank you for listening to me. Okay, if you are interested and you wanted to find out more from me or you wanted to listen more on me, all right, you can actually go to SUC website to find out more. You can go to SUC website and search for the page called Space Professional Diploma Business Management, and you can drop us email, messages, or scan the QR code on screen to be in touch with. All right. So, yep, I wish to see you soon in campus, and till next time. So stay safe and take care.